everyone. Welcome to this week's Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence. I'm your host, Miss Ronnie, where I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. This week, I am going to talk about supporting LaTocha Scott's new gospel album. The reason why I feel like the way that I'm going to support is because people make mistakes all the time. But I was riding a car with my mom and I was asking her, I said, if a gospel artist, come out and say that they're in an open relationship, would you still support them as an artist? And her first question was, what's an open relationship? So that, even with my mom asking me that question, I think that a large segment of the gospel, the people who take in the gospel, the consumers, are not going to know what that is. And so I explained to my mom what it was, and she was like, let me see a video of her. Let me see a picture. And so I pulled up a video of her and I showed her, and she was like, no, she's not in an open relationship. She said, I don't know why she would say that. She said, because just by looking at her, she wouldn't go for that. And I was like, so you would still support? She was like, I don't know why she would come out and say that. She said, but if the music was good, she said, I would still support. So I was just thinking about, some of the comments that have been made. I mean, from way back even up until now. And one of the comments was about body shaming. And I just want LaTocha to know that most of the guys that I have ever, had any conversation with about, or we have seen Escape perform or whatever, have always preferred her. They always would say, yeah, she's a big girl, but she's real pretty and she can sing. I would prefer, to date her or whatever. So when I was watching a blogger, Jamie That's Me. I like Jamie That's Me, so shout out to Jamie That's Me. And she was saying that in one of the interviews that Tasha was saying that her husband was there for her when no one was there, and how he basically fed into bringing up her esteem. And I'm just going to say, maybe you had a misconception, but a lot of men felt like that about you. As far as the open relationship thing, I'm really not going to speak on that. But what I am going to say is, if you're going to follow anybody in your relationship, you need to make sure that that person is following God, that has your best interests at heart and everything. And I understand that, people change and people do things when they're young, and then when they get older, they have learned from their mistakes. I am one of those prime examples. And even before me, Paul's name used to be Saul. So anybody who is into the Bible understands what I'm saying. But even with that, with the people saying the earlier attitude, with her, to me, saying that she's in an open relationship and that's something that she's kept quiet, means there's something to me that you don't agree with. And she talked about morals and her values and her legacy and her image. And I would like to say that, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, that some of the things that were going on with the group wasn't necessarily per se because of the group. Sometimes when a person is going through things, because I'm not going to say anybody is unhappy or was unhappy, going through things, they have to have a way to let that energy escape. And it may have been where there was lashing out at people who didn't deserve it. People were getting the brunt of the frustration, because even Lily said on the show, hey, we can forgive our men, but we'll hold a grudge against, our homegirl for forever. Well, I kind of think it's like one of those situations where she was, I would say, was unhappy or dealing with some things that nobody knew about and was taking frustrations out in unhealthy ways, I would say. Maybe it's in the music. We don't know because we have to listen to the lyrics and different things once April 7th get here on the release date. But I will also say that I've heard her say that she only wants to sing, that she wants to do music. And that's an answer or something that an artist just beginning would say. At some point, an artist gets to, I need to learn the business side of this for longevity, to be able to build off of this, to create off of this, to know where my money is coming from. And I say all this to say is that I truly believe that she do not know the ins and outs of what happened with her sister's royalty checks, because she keeps saying, I just want to sing. And I feel like she hands all the business off to someone else. And one of those pitfalls of handing the business off to someone else is that you're not going to know where everything is going out, what's coming in. You have to be proactive in that part. So if you learn the business and actually looked into it, then you would see why someone would accuse you or anyone in your family of what they're accusing you for. You would have a better understanding. So when she's saying that she's confused, I honestly believe that she's confused because I don't feel like she's learned the business part of the music as she should have by now, and she's been handing it off to someone else to take care of. But, and the fact that it's taking so long to release music when you can go and release music any way you want. If you have the business background, it wouldn't have had to be where you waited on a major record deal, because, that's actually, it's still good to have that back and the promotion and all that. But if you would have put in the sweat equity, it still would have been there anyway. I think that the gospel community can get past this, especially if the open relationship thing is kind of like not really wanted. It's like trying to go along to get along, and that frustrations were taken out on other people, misplaced, misdirected. And because even with the situation with Kirk Franklin, we could understand as being parents sometimes that you might have to talk to your adult children in the way that they understand, because what he said was, if you can't understand what I'm saying to you, let me say it to you like this. So as even in the gospel community, yeah, it was a little uproar or whatever, but we got over it. We got over it because we can relate. And with this situation right here, I think that if a clean heart is created so you may serve thee, then the gospel community is going to be there. I'm going to tell everybody to go out and support her album that comes out April the 7th. I want to say it's called My Confessions with God. And that's another thing. Nobody knows the things that a person has to go through. And sometimes the only person that they can give it to is God. And we are not supposed to judge as a community. And like with the book Beloved, the community ostracized Beloved because they didn't believe in what she did for love. But in the end, they came together to gather her up, and they felt like that they had failed her and that they were going to support her. So at this time, you never know what a person is going through. Um, as the gospel community, you're supposed to put your arms around them when the person comes with a sincere, clean heart. So the only advice that I am going to give is if you're going to follow your man, make sure that your man is following Christ if that's the entity that you believe in. And again, everybody go out, support this album for her. Before I even say that, the situation with the sisters, yeah, it's out in the open right now. But in the end, when they work things out, it is not for them to give us an update or to let us in on the process. That is not our business. Just know that when they get it together, that I feel like Tamika is going to be LaTocha's biggest cheerleader. And don't ever forget it. And as a gospel community, come together and embrace. And as for Tasha, make sure that you're choosing things that's going to be the best for you. Sometimes you are going to have to put yourself first, like how you wanted to get out there and do gospel or do a solo album. Even in your personal life, you have to look at, is this a representative of who I am? Gospel community support, Escape fan support, everybody support this girl on April the 7th with her album. As always, remember you can stream us live on social media. You can catch us on all podcasting platforms and on my website, www.blonde-intelligence.com. I am registered for Chartable, so get me in there, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye. Hey, it's me, Miss Ronnie, the host of Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence. We now have expanded our platform to include RP Entertainment Radio out of Dallas. That's right, in addition to the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Apple, Pandora, and live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, and more, now Indie Artist Music Hustle is part of the Freedom Mix every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on rpentradio.com. The show includes interviews with indie artists and other entertainment professionals, as well as artist reviews. The artist interview or reviewed music will be featured in the Freedom Mix. To schedule an interview or submit for a review, visit www.blonde-intelligence.com or email submissions@rpentradio.com. Blonde Intelligence is a registered trademark.